That persistent, low hum of exhaustion you carry. The one that never quite dissipates, even after a full night's sleep. It's not a personal failure. It's a symptom. You feel like you're running faster just to stay in the same place, perpetually behind, perpetually not quite enough. The unspoken expectations at work seem to expand like a gas, filling every available space, seeping into your evenings, your weekends, even your quiet thoughts. You sense that the rules of engagement have shifted, that the very definition of reasonable has been subtly, insidiously altered. But you can't point to the moment it happened or articulate the mechanism at play. This isn't just burnout. It's an engineered outcome. Your internal baseline for what constitutes a normal workload, a fair request, or a balanced life isn't static. It's a fluid boundary under constant calculated pressure. The reason you feel perpetually tired isn't because you're suddenly less capable or lacking in drive. It's because the target you're aiming for is no longer where you thought it was. It's been moved. This isn't an organic evolution of company culture. It's a deliberate, tactical repositioning of acceptable norms, designed to extract more output from you, without triggering explicit resistance. You're not falling behind. The ground beneath you is being subtly tilted, day by day. This isn't a new phenomenon. It's a corporate adaptation of a political strategy known as the Overton window. In its original context, the Overton window describes the range of policies politically acceptable to the mainstream populace at a given time. Corporate architects have learned to apply this principle internally, not to policy, but to employee expectations and workload. They understand that by manipulating the perceived window of what's acceptable, they can shift what you personally consider normal, reasonable, or even generous within your role. The goal is to make once unthinkable demands appear merely stretching or part of the new reality. The mechanism is subtle, almost imperceptible to the untrained eye. It starts with a head fake. An extreme, often ludicrous demand is floated, not as a serious proposal, but as an anchor. Perhaps it's a new optional weekend work policy, or an aggressive target for email response times overnight, or an expectation that you be always on for immediate communication. These initial demands are so far outside your current window of normalcy that they trigger immediate internal resistance. Your brain registers them as unreasonable, almost absurd, and you internally prepare to push back against this outrageous new ask. But here's the critical layer. That extreme demand was never the actual target. It was the setup. The true objective is slightly less extreme, but still significantly outside your previous boundary. After the initial outrage about the weekend work policy, a revised, more reasonable expectation is introduced. We just need you to respond to critical emails after 7 p.m. at least 3 nights a week. Suddenly, this new demand, which would have been unacceptable a month ago, now appears moderate, even a compromise, compared to the initial, truly outrageous proposal. Your internal gauge for what's bad has been recalibrated, and the new, still unreasonable norm slides right in. This manufactured moderation strips you of your personal frame control. Your default operating system assumes good faith, assuming that since a compromise was offered, the new ask must be fair. You then internalize this shifted baseline, subconsciously categorizing these once unthinkable workloads as merely flexible, committed, or part of being a team player. The organization doesn't have to enforce these new boundaries with overt threats. They've simply shifted your perception of what a reasonable boundary unit is. You become a compliant asset, not through force, but through a gradual, almost imperceptible erosion of your internal negotiation parameter. Your exhaustion isn't from working hard. It's from constantly having to process and adapt to these quietly shifting goalposts. Every time a new extreme is proposed and then moderated down to a new, still unreasonable standard, your capacity for resistance erodes a little further. The gap widens between you, operating on an outdated definition of normal, and those who understand this code, who are actively leveraging it. They understand that by constantly moving the perceived center, they can continue to extract more of your time, energy, and mental bandwidth without ever confronting overt pushback. This is how the system leverages your good nature against you. In this accelerating environment, failing to recognize this manufactured normal means your capacity for self-preservation diminishes daily. You continue to give because the new moderate feels like an improvement on the extreme that was initially presented. But it is still a net loss for you, a net gain for the system. This subtle psychological warfare means your boundaries are not just being tested. They are being systematically dismantled. The true cost isn't just lost sleep. It's the erosion of your autonomy, your ability to define your own capacity, and ultimately, your quiet sense of self. The silence around this mechanism is its most potent weapon. The urgency of understanding this pattern cannot be overstated. You are not simply enduring tough times or adjusting to change. You are living inside a deliberately engineered perception management loop designed for maximum extraction. The first step, the only step that matters, is to gain conscious awareness. To identify the actually new baseline being established, not the one that appears moderate by comparison. To recognize that your exhaustion isn't a flaw in your design, but a direct consequence of theirs. Until you name the mechanism, you remain a compliant participant. And recognition is just the beginning of reclaiming your operating system. The urgency of understanding this pattern cannot be overstated. You are not simply enduring tough times or adjusting to change. You are living inside a deliberately engineered perception management loop designed for maximum extraction. The first step, the only step that matters, is to gain conscious awareness of how that window is being moved. This deliberate recalibration strips your internal frame control. Your default operating system assumes good faith, making once unthinkable workloads appear merely flexible, committed, or even a growth opportunity. This isn't just about workload. It's about the erosion of your ability to define what is reasonable for yourself, based on your own internal metrics, not the shifting external boundary lines dictated by an extraction algorithm. Consider the new standard, that quick syncs at 7 p.m., that weekend email expecting an immediate response. These were once outliers, red flags. Now, they are presented as the cost of being part of the team, of demonstrating ownership. This isn't collaboration, it's calibration. Each micro-concession, each swallowed objection pushes your internal Overton window further. You begin to rationalize, to internalize these demands as simply the way things are now, rather than recognizing them as deliberate anchors set to drag your capacity further into the red. This is how you are transformed into a compliant asset, optimized for continuous output under the guise of autonomy. Your default assumption of good faith is the critical vulnerability exploited in this mechanism. You believe that when a manager presents a new target or stretch goal, it comes from a place of genuine need or shared objective. You assume the system is designed to enable, not extract. This blind spot is precisely what allows the manufactured moderation to take root. You unconsciously participate in the redefinition of your own boundaries, because you lack the framework to identify the underlying manipulation. This isn't about blaming you. It's about exposing the code you're operating within, the unseen forces shaping your daily reality and accelerating your exhaustion. In this accelerating environment, the cost of failing to recognize and counter this manufactured normal increases daily. Your capacity for resistance erodes with every cycle. The gap between those who understand this code and those who do not widens into an unbridgeable chasm. One side adapts by building internal firewalls. The other is consumed by the encroaching demands. This isn't an intellectual exercise. This is tactical survival. Your ability to reclaim your time, your energy, and your autonomy hinges on your capacity to see the mechanism at work, to name it, and to refuse its premise before it becomes your default operating system. The countermeasure is not complex, but it requires relentless vigilance. When an extreme demand is introduced, a project with an impossible deadline, an expectation of round-the-clock availability, do not react to the extreme. Observe it. Recognize it as an anchor. Immediately identify the actual target position disguised as moderate that follows. This is the true extraction point, the new baseline they are attempting to establish. Name it. Articulate it. Internal. This shift from impossible to unreasonable but expected is the core maneuver. Your objective is to resist this redefinition of reasonable, not to argue against the impossible, which was never the true battleground. Your internal monologue must shift. Instead of, "This is a lot, but I'll make it work," you must activate, "They just tried to move the window. The real ask is X, disguised as Y after Z was dangled." This isn't about overt defiance, which can be easily managed. It's about an internal recalibration of your own boundaries, independent of the external pressure. It is about holding your own frame, seeing the game, and refusing to play by rules that are constantly shifting to your detriment. This is how you prevent the erosion of your capacity for resistance, how you begin to build a defense against engineered burnout. This awareness is the architecture you need. It gives you the language to name what is happening, to articulate the silent extraction that has driven your exhaustion. You are not alone in feeling this pressure. You are simply now equipped with the tactical understanding to decode it. Observe this pattern in your environment this week. Identify the anchors. Recognize the manufactured moderation. The ability to see this mechanism is the first step in dismantling its hold on your capacity. This is not about escape. It's about operational control. The key is now in your hand. What you do with it is your next move.